get about by bike, or with the kids, go on the buses, because you've got to park, and it's actually an enormous hassle. I don't know why most people still remain attached to their cars, because I think it makes their lives much more difficult. So once you can get rid of that, you feel a great sense of freedom and the lifting of a burden. But that isn't the case for everybody, so I'm not saying it's a completely either-or situation. And we're going to continue having a lot of cars on the roads. One of the priorities for government should be to reduce the numbers of cars on the road and to reduce that accelerating trend which we're seeing. And I think you can do that in a way which improves the quality of life. I mean, 2,000 or 3,000 people a year are killed in traffic accidents. So there's lots of reasons why cars are, in fact probably the primary safety threat to young people are cars. So they're serious disabilities.
Motorbikes.
And motorbikes are even worse. But I mean, in terms of pedestrians and in terms of cyclists, cars are the biggest danger. And you know, a lot of kids are killed every year. More kids are killed by cars than are killed by horrible paedophile strangers in long coats. So, you know, 10 times more in fact. But you don't have any of the kind of moral panic associated with it, because of course people love their cars so much. But ultimately we're going to have to find ways to reduce emissions from the road transport sector, because it's 20% of the problem. And that will mean, well, we've tried biofuels, and biofuels have been a disaster. In fact, I've been saying this for years now, and so have many other environmentalists, that if you're generating fuel from food, that's going to then put the price of food up, and it's going to leave people starving on the streets in the poor world. This is exactly what's already begun to happen, earlier than any of us predicted, in fact. And at the same time, biofuels don't actually reduce emissions. They probably increase emissions, certainly from ethanol and from US corn, from palm oil, from rainforest. The emissions will be hundreds of times higher than it would be if you just burnt fossil fuel. So we need to take a step back from. And the reason, of course, biofuels were originally promoted was a way of avoiding having to upset the car companies by asking them to make more efficient engines, because they've been ferociously lobbying against this, both in the United States and in the European Union. So it was a way to avoid making difficult decisions. Well, you know, you do find when you regulate corporations that actually they just go ahead and do and make the change actually quite easily. They say that they're going to have to close down, and millions of jobs will be lost, and it always turns out to be rubbish. So I think we do need to also decarbonise the road transport sector, probably using electricity. I think this is, you know, with battery technologies having moved forward as far as.
Yes, tell us where you think we are on the battery car, because people's image of that is, of course, milk floats.
Yeah. Well, there's the Tesla Roadster, which is a new battery-powered sports car, which is just being manufactured on a relatively large scale. A few thousand of them are being made now in California. Has a top speed of 135 or something miles per hour, 0 to 60 in 4 seconds.
Well, it would go up the Bourke then?
It would go up the Bourke here, which is a very steep hill, yes.